This is a video response to a question I got regards to my video 16 years in EVE Online. The question was, how could you play a game for 16 years? So I hope this video explains it. Hello everyone, my name is Shiv and let me explain once and for all what EVE Online really is. Cause I bet that most of you people know about it, and maybe you even tried it, but only the real EVE players have actually played it enough to experience the true EVE and know what the game really is. Opinions is today molded by people who got some influence in one way or another, and it's sad but true that the bad news travels faster than the speed of light. And here I am, bringing you some good news, so it probably will not reach you. If you never played any EVE game, whether it's EVE Online or EVE Echoes or Dust, you probably have been indoctrinated. Yeah, that's a commonly used word nowadays, so Shiv implemented. Indoctrinated into thinking this game is not for you. And it might be so. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's actually quite likely that you have tried it and ended up with, where the hell am I? And what should I do? What I'm talking about is not only the lack of truth and knowledge that some people have, and either if it's a video for fun or just a review video that is from like 40 hours of gameplay. Some even play 30 minutes and claim to know what the game is about. But I'm telling you, just like any hardcore raider in WoW, those players have a different experience than the average who just play for a few hours or a few days. And sure, EVE Online has extensively been talked about, so why not talk a bit more? In this video I want to try and give you all the feelings that this game will provide to you, what this game really do for you. So let me give you my thoughts and my feelings about this game after 16 years, 20,000 hours. You might have heard this before, but EVE Online is a steady developed MMORPG set in a future space where humans have evolved enough so that we can advance as a species with the capabilities to store our memory. This makes us immortal. As immortals, we also have the ability to hook us into ships through cables, kinda like Avatar and the horses, or Neo in Matrix, but this is way cooler. This way we can commandeer different ships, and that's what the game evolves around. In this game you gather resources or money, that's called interstellar space credits in this game, ISK for short. You also gather ships, stations, and even space itself. Everything you own can be lost if you behave badly or are just unlucky. Some areas are more safe than others, but even in high security space, it can be dangerous. So everything that you do will have a consequence for you or another player. The game is in third person, so there's no dogfights or dizziness from flying upside down, and everyone is on one big server, so names becomes famous and infamous. EVE Online are known for its great open gameplay, where your role in the game is endless. You honestly can do anything you like, and it works. You can play this game solo, which is fine, or you can play in corporations and alliances fighting for ownerships of different space. This game has been catering mostly to the player base, but recently been going downhill. I did quit EVE Online before this, so I cannot say what really happened, but it took a toll on most of the players and many did not like this and left. But why did I quit? I quit because EVE Echoes. 2 years ago, well, almost 3 years ago, EVE expanded or split into EVE Echoes, a mobile game that made everyone able to try this game out. And I mean everyone. Now when Elon's Starlink is more and more active, you can play EVE Echoes in the Arctic, if you just have a phone and want to. I could say EVE Echoes is a simplified version of EVE Online, but that is not true. EVE Echoes has less gadgets, but are optimized for mobile. The community is just as hardcore as EVE Online. And the way we play the game is very much the same, even though some stuff in-game works different. For example, mining is different, we have auto-targeting, and so on, but in the end you always have your personal knowledge and your skills to improve your situation during combat. So talking extensively about both games is not for this video, but both games have a player-driven economy, and sure, EVE Echoes economy could have been better, but that is the game in a nutshell. So why is this game so special? As I said, I played EVE Online for 16 years and I made my first character in 2004. I started EVE Online just like anyone else, And as years flew by, I've been in big fights, I was a fleet commander, I've been a pirate, I also did run a big pirate syndicate, I had a mercenary corps and a non-security explorer corps. I've been a big time miner and even marketeer for a few years. What I never really did was industry, but I flew the biggest ships both in Empire and Nullsec. And maybe I did not fly the Revelation in Highsec. I'm not Krybba. New Eden is an amazing universe that no other space game has been able to recreate. What the game tells you that you can do is of course a lot of things. You can do mining, PvE content through different means, PvP, market, industry, corporation, mercenary jobs, storylines, trading and a lot more. And all the subcategories below those. But what I found out in the game was I could create my own jobs. As an example, what I did was I hunted faction spawns around the universe. This became my full-time job in the game, and it made me a ton of money. What I had to do to make this work was to get a ship that could do the trick. And since I didn't want to live in a specific area, I had to be invisible, because my idea was to move around wherever I wanted. So to be able to do this, I had to be smart and create a ship that was invisible and hard to catch. I only did die a few times, but now I had the whole universe at my fingertips, and even expanded that into paying people to not hunt me when I was in their own space. For a cut of the loot, of course. It worked at times, and stuff like that is not something that the game tells you that you can do, but it's there for you to invent yourself. If you're starting EVE Online today, for example, there's a lot of stuff that you would want to know about. This game takes time, it's a long journey, but the good thing is that the journey is the game. There is no end game, so there is no meaning to rush anything, and players will give you the device you need all along, but try to decide stuff for yourself. It's common that you hear do not do this and do not do that, but figuring out stuff yourself is in this game the key. EVE Online and EVE Echoes is an experience that you never forget. It's kinda like a second life, and you will understand and you will feel the power of achieving something in this game, as well as losing the stuff if you don't pay attention. Your sweaty palms are nothing. You will grow hair on your back, just have it stand up in this game. The tension and the excitement is out of this world, and that is not a joke. So when people talk about EVE Online, they sometimes bring up the toxicity of scammers and bad words, screams in the mic as well as never trust anyone. And while this is true, you don't have to experience that at all. You don't need to have your items compromised every day. As a high-sec player, there is enough to do to fill your days if you just keep an eye open. But if you feel you need to expand into low-sec or even null-sec, you honestly are craving for the excitement. This game is all about goals. If you want to be as safe as you can be, then you can go for that. But remember, you are never safe. I personally can say that I've only died a couple of times in high-sec, while friends of me dies all the time. It might be because I plan stuff before I do, or that they are just unlucky. Now it's true that I can talk forever, but this is what EVE Online and EVE Echoes really is. It's hope, it's entertainment, and it's a personal progress, both in-game and in real life. You will learn how to handle situation, you will learn how to handle stress, and even make you a more understanding person. Great players in EVE Online is not only great players, they are great people in life as well. This game makes you grow, not just the hair on your back, but as a person. And the future of EVE is endless. I really hope that EVE Online keeps evolving as well as EVE Echoes gets bigger and better. And the way EVE has been expanding for almost 20 years, I can see us playing this in the future, just like Tony Stark does. EVE Echoes might be in 3D, casted from our phones to fill the whole living room. So I got the question why you should play EVE Online, like in 2024. And yeah, with over 20,000 hours into this game, I can say that I have a somewhat good understanding what this game is. And I'm not here to say if you should play the game or not, I will just give you the tools to decide for yourself. So coming from EVE Online to EVE Echoes, and now checking EVE Online again now and then, the EVE Echoes people ask me, is EVE Online better or worth playing over EVE Echoes? And to that I will say, it all depends on what you want to do in a game. What are your future goals and what do you want to achieve? Is the game that you want to play meant to be just for fun, or do you want it to be like a competition? Do you have enough time to sit on the PC, or is the only way to play a lot in the sofa? Because if you're starting EVE Online today, then what you must understand is that this will take time. I'm not saying you can't have fun playing at the same time, but you will be aware that you might not be able to do what you want to do right now. EVE Online is a big game with many opportunities. Some of you are coming from EVE Echoes, and I don't think that EVE Online is the answer to all the problems you might have from EVE Echoes. Because if you are one of those who say that you left EVE Echoes because you can't mine as an alpha and pay for your Omega, well, guess what? It takes you 160 hours to mine as an alpha to get Omega in EVE Online, and that is with max skills. It's like mining every day for that month. What I'm saying is that both games are hard, in a way. Even if EVE Online has more for you to do, it is just as hard to start from scratch and farm for Omega, being a free-to-play. Both games kinda demands a few Omega payments to get started. I'm just being fair and saving you the headache. And sure, of course, it all depends on what you wanna do. But neither game is easy. If you have friends in the game, that will make a big impact. If you're playing solo, then here, just like EVE Echoes, you might be frustrated by some mechanics. And compared to EVE Echoes, EVE Online will punish you for not knowing what to do. So I ask you again, what do you want to do? Are you looking for a game where you can fly some beautiful ships and meet some amazing friends and, at the same time, be cautious not to lose it all? Then EVE Online is a great game for you. If you want a space game with even better looking ships, meet some great friends and have that available on your phone, and the ability to keep almost everything that you earn even if you die, then EVE Echoes is for you. If you want a free-to-play game, then EVE Echoes has no alpha gameplay. I can't defend any part of alpha gameplay on EVE Echoes. Now, I don't personally mind it being hard, but as an alpha you can't even do close to some stuff that you can in EVE Online. That actually gives you the feeling of playing a game. And you are on top of that, slapped in the face with stuff like you cannot translate in chat unless you're Omega, and you can't sell in most of the stations. And trading is by far the only way for an alpha to make it to Omega. And it's still very limited. Then sure, Omega in EVE Echoes is about $5, while Omega in EVE Online is $15. There's of course so much more, so check my channel and news and tips for EVE Echoes if you're interested. And you can play as an alpha. Sure, it's very hard to mine your way to Omega, but EVE Online has other stuff that with luck can get you Omega with some good work. So EVE Online is the way to go if you want to be alpha and not pay anything. Now let's just discuss pay to win. If you ask me, there's no pay to win in either of the games. You could argue that EVE Echoes is more pay to win due to the nanocores or the implants, and sure, the implants is the nail in the coffin for me. And EVE Online do not have this system, but yes, buying Plex in EVE Echoes does give you better ships, better items, but in EVE Online you can do the same. A hardcore pay to win hater would say that this is pay to win, and sure, it is to some degree, but it's not as bad as most games today. EVE Online and EVE Echoes have a great ability for personal skills and playstyle that beat pay-to-win players anyway. So I would say this, if you have the ability to play on a computer and you have no issues in finding time to sit down and learn EVE Online, then EVE Online will be a great experience for anyone at any age. Now if you don't have the time to sit at the computer and you want as close feeling as possible to EVE Online, then EVE Echoes is a great substitute and by far the best mobile space game today. I still think that EVE Echoes is a good game, but I also think that EVE Echoes have a lot more to fix before it can be truly enjoyed 24/7. And the same for EVE Online. I think it's a bit too harsh for new players who can't stand a chance against griefers within the game, but also the profit you gain tastes a lot better. Both games are beautiful, and none of them is bad. If you don't like one of the games, then it's because it's not for you. Just because some players say that the game sucks, it doesn't mean that the game is bad. And if you want to play EVE Echoes, then we are here, making the game a bit better every day. And if you want to jump on EVE Online, then sure, there's good people there too. And if you can't choose, then do like me and play a little bit of both. I think that's the best solution. And that's the best of both worlds. But here is some truth about EVE Online. You can lose your stuff anywhere and be broke. You will be scammed, you will be hunted, even in high sec. And if you place any stations, you will be griefed. You can meet the best person in this game and play with him for years, only to one day log in and find all your stuff stolen. But this is also why the game is good, and the times between all of this is what makes this game so great. And those are the times that you hunt for. And I have lost billions upon billions, but I also gained it all back, several times. So place yourself in my situation, find your own solution, spend some time in space. It's still a couple of years until we can do this in real life. There's no game like EVE, and if you have not honestly tested it, you might have missed the real space diamond. Thank you all for watching this video, but in reality, it is you people who sparked me to start my YouTube in order to help out. So thank you for making me your gaming friend, and if you subscribed, I see you again.